Welcome to the Check Ball Show, presented by Prize Picks. I'm Austin Mills. Frankie Delgado next to me, one of our very good friends on the show today. 6'10" with a ratchet. Maybe the biggest heist in the history of the NBA. Chandler Parsons here with us today.
That took a turn. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming.
You just said he's one of your good friends, and you just attacked him like
Could've
that.
stopped
No,
there.
that was a compliment.
Could have stopped there, but yeah, thanks for having me. Welcome
One
to
of
my
our
house.
best friends, Chandler Parsons.
So I actually met Chan through Frankie, but Frankie and Chandler have an incredible story on how they met. Frank, do you want to tell it?
I mean, it's been many moons since we've met.
What was this, 2011?
2011. You were a rookie with the Rockets.
I was a junior in high school.
And incredible night. I was a little tipsy at the game, and I was watching the Rockets play the Lakers, and I was sitting courtside right on the bench with the Rockets. And I'm not a big Laker fan per se, but I love Kobe, and I would go to the game.
Are you a Clipper fan?
I'm a Friends fan.
I thought we
I'm a
agreed that
Friends fan.
Chandler was going to tell the story. Or are you just leading into it?
I'm getting into it because he's the one that's going to tell you what happened, actually.
Okay.
What really happened?
I was a little tipsy.
Yeah.
I was a little tipsy. And
Hopefully Chandler wasn't.
So was I.
so were you. But
No, not yet. Not this part of the story.
But he's in the game, and he's on the bench, and I'm like, yo, it says Parsons, and I'm a little tipsy. And I'm like, yo, look, hey, Parsaroni. I start going Parsaroni. He looked at me, laughed, ha, what's up, man? It's like, when are they gonna put you in? He's like, and he's like, kind of like, shut up, And then he finally goes in the game. First play, hits a three, and looked at me, kind of like. And I'm like, Parsaroni!
By the way, when you say finally, I think it was like 6 minutes into the game. It was the first quarter. So you made it seem like it was a blowout, like I checked in. So let's
finally put him in the game.
So let's start from the top. Yeah, so that happened. And I just hear this dude just chirping like the whole game. And I'm playing well. And I'm scoring. I'm hitting threes. And at this point now, I'm barking back at him.
Is this Hills Frankie, by the way? Are you on the show at this point?
Hills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He's wasted, so you could tell. And you're with your boy, too, that...
Santos.
Santoroni. Yeah. And so they're just berating me, Parsaroni. And anyways, long story short, I end up playing very, very well, right? Is this the game that I hit the...
This is the game. So he's playing so well, bro, that he's just... Now I'm like, every time he's coming to the bench, and I'm like, Parsaroni, what's up now? Like, I could care less who wins this game. But I'm just going at it because he keeps looking at me. I'm like... Okay, this is on. It's on, right? So he hits another dagger on them, and he just comes up to me, and there's Kim Kardashian, I don't think she was with Connie yet, and then Connie's over there, and
My sole focus was on this fucking guy. Just
everyone's on the court.
could care less who else was there.
It's a big game, by the way, too.
It's a huge game. And they ended up hitting a buzzer-beating three.
Kobe's out there. Chandler's focused on Frankie.
Kobe's out there. I'm focused on Delgado.
He just took it out on me, so there's a moment where it's a 3-point game, and he literally hits a half-court dagger on the Lakers. Boom.
To send it to overtime. So
hence 6'10" with a ratchet.
So anyway, so that happens, right? And after the game, we actually I think ended up losing in overtime, but it wasn't about that. I won my personal vendetta with Delgado. And so we go, and my agency, Matt Davis, at the time, I was signed with an agency out here, and we were staying the night. And I was like, hey, what's the move tonight? We want to do something. We want to go somewhere. And he's like, oh, I'll set you up with the guy he's the guy out here. He'll take care of you. So I'm like, cool. I'd never been out in L.A. before. And so we all go. We shower up. We go to dinner. And we go, what was it, Emerson?
It's called Emerson. Yeah.
Emerson was the nightclub back in the day in L.A. And we go, and I'm texting in a group chat with this guy.
So I'm in the group chat with him, dude, by the way. And then we're like, he says, hey, my boy Chandler wants to go out after the game.
Pull up, and I see him, and I'm like, no
we see each other,
way.
and we're like,
that.
Parsaroni.
Yeah. Literally just died laughing, hugged it out, got ripped till 4 a.m.
We had a good night.
And we kind of took off from there.
You thought it was one of those things where they brought the guy up from the 300 section down to the court.
So now he ended up being...
Mr. Melman took care of me on those seats, coach.
He ended up being my plug from that day on, one of my best friends, and that's how it started. I wanted to kill him to loving him.
So there's a Kobe story, and then there's a Frankie story.
Yeah, was this pre-Kobe or post-Kobe?
This is my first game in LA. This was before the Kobe, so this is before the supper club night.
The second story, allegedly, Kobe took care of him.
Allegedly, I'm right here. That's what I'm confirming.
Oh, you're confirming?
Yeah.
Well, though I can confirm the actual part.
Oh, he did pay. You paid.
Well, no. He paid, but he hit me up.
You
to make
facilitated
sure
the
that
deal.
so that
Oh,
everything
okay.
would be
When
taken
Kobe
care of.
By the way, that
anything
makes
in-
sense.
Yeah, when Kobe wanted anything in LA, he texted Frankie. Frankie
Yeah.
was his guy.
I do have the game worn jersey.
He
I
does.
like that. And by the way, I don't doubt it. But that shit was crazy. I was like, all right, I'm young. I'm not making that much money. And this girl brings me like a $20,000+ bill. I'm like, no, I cannot pay this bill. And then pictures signing like for Kobe Bryant. I'm like, this can't be real life.
Now that's like what you spend on coffee.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, so that was so sick. So those were like my 2 intros to LA, hence why I live here now.
I have one amazing Chandler Parsons story that I will hold on to forever. I'll keep it super brief, but
Oh boy.
I think Chan will never let this story down. Little Cabo story.
Oh.
The
What
best,
happens in Cabo stays in Cabo.
the best story of all time. Basically, some girl skipped right past Parsons and asked for Mills, and he'll never let it down.
No, we were at like Mango Deck, one of these bars, and this girl, me and Blake are sitting there, and like this like beautiful girl walks up, and we're like, hey, like what's up? And she literally like before we could even say anything, she goes, is that Austin Mills over there? And me and Blake are like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here.
You know I paid.
You know it was a
paid her to
prank.
say
She's
that.
an actor. She was planted
You
there.
know I went up there. I'm like, yo, can you do me a favor?
Yeah, 100%.
Go ask those two
I
guys.
don't care what you tell me. That girl was planted there.
Parson goes, when she asked for me, Parson goes, the trick shooter?
Yeah. I was like, the kid from Vine? Yeah. He's right there. Have at it.
What time is it?
Brother, it's noon. I ain't taking a shot.
What do you mean, brother? It's game time. It's Prize Picks. It's every day, all day. Come on.
Oh, of course. I got to tell you guys what Prize Picks has right now. If you place a $5 lineup, that's all you have to do. Select a couple guys, choose a lineup, $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly.
I put in $5, take my guys, and I get $50.
Instantly.
You know that's a Frankie special, baby.
What's that?
Win-win, baby.
Oh, I thought it was the no-brainer.
Oh no, that's a no-brainer
You get
too.
that one? You get that?
Hey.
Win, lose, or draw, no matter what, you get 50 instantly right into your account. And my theory has been proven true so far. If you go less on any of these guys so far in the Olympics, you'd be winning.
Except with the GOAT.
I wouldn't do it on the GOAT. The GOAT's been crushing lately.
Yep.
So less on everyone except for the GOAT.
Less on everyone except on the GOAT.
Back to the show.
There's a whole city in Memphis that like hate you, right? But I bet you that if people got to know who you really are, man, everybody would love you.
Yeah, and I always say, like, I had an up and down time in Memphis, and I like to have a lot of fun with it now, talking trash to like their fans and stuff on social media and stuff. But as brutal as that was, and as can still be, like, I still have great relationships there, and the people that I actually know, like the staff, my teammates. Mike Conley's still one of my dear friends.
Amazing guy. I love him.
Like there's so many. There's a guy Al Gossett there that showed me nothing, but like there's multiple people there who I still have relationships with that were great. It just didn't end the way that either of us wanted to, and again, I think when you're at the when you're in the NBA and you're at a professional level, especially when you get paid a lot of money, there's expectations for that, and I know that more than anybody. But it's not like these people or these fans' expectations are higher than your own.
But at that time, you were one of the highest paid players in the entire NBA.
Yeah, it was the biggest raise. I think before like Draymond, it was the biggest raise in the history of the NBA.
What is the hatred? Is it because of purely performance?
So I don't know. It's not like it was personal. It's not like I had like a meet and greet and like was a dickhead to like all these people.
No, but you didn't say anything on Twitter.
Oh,
or
I've said
anything
stuff since for sure. But like while I was there, no. I think I went in. I was on a max deal. I got hurt, and this is how it all started. Where I tore my meniscus the season before. So when they signed me to my max deal, they knew I was rehabbing. They knew I had a torn meniscus. They knew I had 3 other surgeries before that. So it's not like that I like went and lied and faked this injury, right? So when I got there, I was literally still rehabbing. So I missed like the first month and a half, I think it was, of the season. And again, they were a grit and grind. They had Zebo, TA. Like I was supposed to be this missing piece to put like this, like humble, great team to like be the missing piece and like let's take the next step. And I remember when I finally got back in, I played my first game, and I get fouled, and like I missed my first free throw, and the whole arena booed me. After my first game, my first possession at home on a max contract, they booed me.
You're the Tobias Harris of Memphis.
And so I like after that game, and I played like shit, and I was rusty, and again, it was my first game in over a season.
Yeah.
Played awful. And they asked me after the game, they said, what was your take on like the crowd's reaction? I said, listen, if this is how they're going to be, I'll treat every home game like a road game, and I could be an asshole too. Or I said something of that.
Yeah.
But literally I didn't, there was before that, there was nothing, there was no animosity, there was no hatred, there was nothing at all. It just wasn't a fit.
I pulled up some numbers because obviously I'm going to have your back as our boy. I know I obviously give you shit, but just an interesting perspective to put it into. At the time, right before you got that big contract, you were averaging 14, 5 rebounds and 3 assists at the time. That was right before you got your big deal, before you got injured, obviously.
Before the Memphis deal.
Right. Michael Porter Jr., currently, you were on 4 years, $94 million. Michael Porter Jr. is on 5 years, $180 million. You were 14, 5 and 3. He's 16, 7 and 1.
Yeah.
So very similar stats, and he's on a way bigger contract than you were. He's on a winning team. Obviously, you got injured, and it's very unfortunate. Nothing against Michael Porter Jr. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's extremely important to that team. He'll come on our show. He's a great guy. But just to put it into perspective, you get all this shit for getting injured.
It's crazy. Like I remember on my show this year, I said Austin Reeves, he's a great player. I think he is what he is. I don't think he's going to get much better, but he's a great player. If he's going to average 15, 5 and 5. And people are like, you're a hate. I'm like, first of all, it's a great season. It's a hell of a career if you can average those numbers for your whole career. And I'm like, and that will get you paid.
You averaged 13 points in your career.
Yeah. So again, I think the big thing for me was just that I did make a lot of money and I missed a lot of time, right? That's what people want to use. They think you're just sitting there collecting a check, not caring, which is far from the truth. Everyone that's hurt, they are so miserable. They have to be at the gym, at the facility, hours and hours
and you're
more.
Doing rehab.
You're doing more than the player that's currently playing. So it is a grind. It sucks being hurt. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. I don't care if they make $1 million a year, if they make $50 million a year. It blows to be hurt. So and also now with the money's up too. So you have to factor that in. Like the money was up when I played. I was overpaid when I was played, making $15 a year on the Mavericks. That's like the 8th, 9th man right now making
right.
15 a year. So it's different, and it was different when I played, and it's only going to go up with the TV deals and stuff like that. But yeah, it's when you put things in perspective like that. I think my career numbers like 13, 5 and 3 or something like that.
You're 12.7 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.7 assists per game in your career.
We always round up.
Yeah, you round up.
Round up.
But that's by the way, if you would have told, those are pretty solid
By the way,
numbers.
MPJ 15, 6 and 1, so pretty similar numbers, and he's made a lot more money than you have.
Yeah.
Obviously, times have changed.
Do you really want to throw that in?
What?
He's just made more money.
I'm comfortable.
No.
Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm okay.
Let's look back at like these poor guys that were like Hall of Famers back in the day, and they're
Oh yeah, there was a
working day
stat. I
jobs.
think 1 year in Memphis, I made $24 million. That was what Larry Bird made in his entire career.
that's crazy.
So it's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Times change, money, the salary cap changes, so it's insane. But yeah, it's crazy because also these fans and these critics and the media and stuff, they don't understand that most of us NBA players, like it was our dream just to make the NBA. So you don't put like a expectation really on it. You just want to be as best as you possibly can, right? So the fact that I made it to the NBA was a dream come true. The fact that I played 9 years, hurt, not hurt, whatever, was unbelievable. So people want to say it's overrated or a bust or whatever. First of all, I don't think I can be a bust when I'm a second round pick. So I don't think that's also ignorant. But playing 9 years in the NBA, like I thought that was, I lived my dream, and not many people can say that.
Yeah. I now want to bring out some stats.
Go ahead.
Yeah, come on, hit him with the numbers, hit him with the
I got
analytics.
But this is for Austin.
Oh, great.
Austin, you made the most threes you ever made in a college season was 9. And that was your freshman year at Pepperdine. You went 9 for 33.
I didn't know I was entering a goddamn roast.
9 for 33.
Broke my hand.
Chandler made 10 threes in a row in a half.
And
That's who Chandler Parsons was.
Tied the record.
In your face, Mills.
Parsaroni.
Yeah.
Tied the record. By the way, I'll go shoot in a 3-point contest with him right now for 10 grand.
All right. No, you won't. Not for 10 grand.
I mean, like 1,000 for me and like 100 for you.
You know, it's funny because
fair.
you and my buddy from home, Kyle, say that, and they're like, "Oh, I'll outshoot you." I'm like, "What does that mean, though? Like, you'll outshoot Joel Embiid, Jokic right now from 3.
Sure.
What does that mean?"
I take pride in my shooting. It's all I can do.
Sick.
I'm not 6'10" with a ratchet.
But we have seen you in the gym, man. And you
Austin
do
can shoot. Austin can shoot.
Like I vouch for him in the men's league. He has like the record of most threes in a game.
That's a sick record, dude.
In the Beverly Hills men's league with me.
All right, man. I actually was talking a lot of shit to Chan, and Chan was like, "My shooting coach will outshoot you," and we went and did it.
And he did.
And he outshot me.
He's a sniper.
Sniper. But I wanna talk about contracts, and we talked about how they change in today's world. I want to just do a little segment with you on some of the contracts that were made in the offseason, and I want your take on good deal or bad deal.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook just signed 2 years, $7 million. Thoughts on that?
Great deal. At that price, it's a huge value. He's productive. At that price, there's no expectations, right? You don't feel he might not play some nights. He might start some nights. He might get minutes. He might not get minutes. So I think with what he can still do, his physicality, the way he defends, I think that's a great deal on a team that's already a contender without him. I think he can only help that roster.
Bronny James, 4 years, $8 million.
They already made their money back on that. Selling jerseys.
It's again, the money's that has a 55th pick ever got that much money. I was a 38th pick. I didn't get anything close to that. Again, the numbers are different now, but it's tough. Is it a good deal? I guess we'll wait and see. I don't think it is. I don't think he's that gonna be a good NBA player. I think he's got the potential. Sure, he's got the genes, but he wasn't very good in college. He had a really scary health scare. But yeah, his dad's LeBron James, and if I was LeBron James, I would do the same thing to be able to play with Chrome. Like if I had that leverage, fuck yeah, I would do it 10 times out of 10.
DeMar DeRozan, 3 years, $76 million.
Where'd he go? Sac.
I
love DeMar. He lives in the neighborhood. He's one of the last productive players that can't really shoot like threes. You know what I mean? So I think in that system, I think he'll be fine playing with Fox and Sabonis. But he is older, and that's a lot of money. But I don't love the deal, but I like the deal.
Miles Bridges, 3 years, $75 million.
I hate it. I don't like it. I mean, I think he's a
It's too
good player.
much.
It's a lot. Also,
Him and DeMar are getting the same deal, exact same deal.
That's just classic Charlotte. Also, the stuff he did off the court,
Yeah,
it's bullshit. He shouldn't even be in the NBA.
Tyus Jones, 1 year, $3 million.
Where'd he go?
That's
a great deal.
Yeah.
Because he is solid. Where'd he go?
Suns, Phoenix.
Oh, I love that. And they need a point guard.
Yep.
Love that. That's the best deal that we've said
Evan
so far.
Mobley, 5 years, $224 million.
Here's the problem. Like when you say that, I feel it sounds bad, right? But first of all, he's pretty good. I thought he'd be a lot better by now at this point of his career. But you have to factor in it's Cleveland. Who else are they going to get that's much better?
That's going to live in Cleveland.
He's young. And he's one of those building block pieces on the team that when you draft someone, you're almost more obligated to pay them, right? You want to be right. You want to
you got to keep him.
And he has game, and he's great defensively. I thought he'd develop a little bit more offensive game by now, but the number seems ridiculous, but you have to, you know what I mean? You have to pay that guy because who else are you gonna get? And the fact that Donovan went back. I feel like there's still a lot of questions with Darius Garland or not, but you had to pay him.
I agree. He's also a great guy and quiet.
Yeah.
And just sticks to his guns. Sam Hauser, 4 years, $45 million.
Back to Boston?
Yep.
I mean, listen, he was a critical piece to that bench this year. Everyone talked about how thin they were, how they had no depth. Sam Hauser, he can shoot it. Yeah, I mean that's 4 years, 40, and back in the day that would be crazy money, right? I like that for him.
Andrew Nembhard, 3 years, $60 million.
Wow. Back to Pacers?
Mm-hmm.
What are you, Shams? How do you fucking know all this stuff?
I actually went to Shams' Instagram and got all these off his Instagram.
How about this? Not even before the season. Before the playoffs, I would say that's a god-awful deal. But what he did in the playoffs and how much he stepped up, I like it. He's a starting level point guard in the NBA guy. That's $20 million a year.
Right.
What's crazy though is he went to Florida as like a McDonald's All-American, and I was like, he just didn't pan out. We had this coach Mike White, and I was like, this guy was a McDonald's All-American. I was hyped. He ended up transferring to Gonzaga, but I just didn't see him turning into a $20 million player a year.
Yeah. So obviously Drew is not on the show today. He's with Team USA in Paris. But he dropped in, sent over some questions for the big cat.
What's he gonna zoom in?
No,
we're not gonna zoom in.
He's not zooming in today, but he did send us some questions that he wanted us to ask you. One of them being, if we dropped you in your prime in the 60s or 70s, what would your numbers have looked like?
Statue outside the arena.
And you're healthy.
A statue outside the arena.
Outside the arena.
Yeah. That's
What
not
are
a
you
joke.
averaging? How many points a game?
Again, I wasn't really like, even in high school, college, I never was like a bucket. I wasn't a good, but I would average probably 20 plus points. I would average 8 rebounds and 5 or 6 assists. I'd be a multi-year all-star. And it's, again, the game of, and that's not even a diss to the
MVP?
60s and 70s. Yeah, maybe like if we won a championship and a good supporting cast, yeah. And again, that's not disrespecting the 60s and 70s. I just think it's a different era. It's not a fair argument when you talk about all the resources that guys have now in their prime, which is back then. The speed, the athleticism, like everything is just so much faster and bigger and stronger now. Everything evolves, like everything in the world, not just basketball. So I think anybody now, the current player in the NBA, would have a lot of success in the 60s and 70s. Now, 80s, 90s, it starts getting a little trickier, but 60s and 70s, yeah, I think I would be a 10-year all-star.
So this is a good question right here for you, because you have some wild takes sometimes. Team USA of 92 versus Team USA today.
That one's tough because I think the talent level of our team this year is through the roof, right? It's the best, deepest team I think we've ever had. Now, when you look at the legends and the history of that Dream Team, they played together. They dominated. They were so good. We've looked kind of like shit. So, like, right now I kind of have a sour taste in my mouth about this year because we almost just lost to Serbia, like, this week. So it's hard to compare. Now, if we go and blow out France and we go, which I think we're going to, but then all of a sudden I think there's an argument. But it's hard because that's what I'm talking about. That era of the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, that era is a timeless era where I think you can plug those guys into any single era and they'll dominate. Those guys are fantastic. Those guys are great.
They were real basketball players with athleticism.
That's what we're talking about, like real, like strength and athleticism and speed. And like, yeah, that's where the game initially started like evolving in my mind. So it's hard to go against them just because they were so dominant. And this year, we got to be honest, we've looked beatable.
Yeah, we had Joel on episode 1. Obviously, you know Joel really well. And a lot of people, and we talked about this in the episode too, but a lot of people, bash Joel because he's averaged all these points, he's won MVP, but he's never won.
Yeah.
Do you think Team USA winning a gold with Joel on it helps his case, or do you think it's just he's got to win with the Sixers?
No, and I love Joel, but unfortunately, I don't think that helps like his resume or his case at all. I think he's got to win in Philly. I think he's got to win a championship in the NBA, because there's going to be all the hate about him. How he could have played on Cameroon or he could have played on France, and he took the easy way out, which also is bullshit. It's a whole other story. But no, I think he's got to win. I think he's got to stay healthy because I think Joel Embiid is the most dominant player in the NBA. But I think Jokic is the best player in the NBA because he plays and he's always healthy and he's won championships. So like that helps. So I think for Joel to kind of get over that hump and get over the stigma and kind of get from the backseat to the front seat of Jokic, he's just got to win a championship. And this year they have a really good chance.
Well, sorry, Frank, but similar question. If Jokic beats Team USA and goes on to win a gold,
He's the greatest.
is he the best
time.
ever?
Yeah. It helps him beating Team USA more than it helps, Joel and Team USA winning the gold medal.
Team USA is
for
supposed
sure.
to win.
Team USA is the heavy favorite. They are dominant. They are the best league in the world. They're the best players in the world. So when you go and you have Serbia with 2 NBA players with Bogdanovic and Jokic, if they come and they would have beat us, yeah, I think
They got something to stand on.
that is and again, when you're playing on one of these European countries too, it means so much more. You can tell those guys too. They grew up together. They play more as a team than Team USA does. We're just more talented and more athletic and just better at certain aspects of the game. But yeah, it's interesting because that would put Jokic in an even crazier, higher level, which is weird to even think of because he's pretty much at the top.
But the fun stat here is the last 7 times that Joel faced Jokic, Joel won all 7 times and has had barbecue chicken.
Yeah. Well, there was a game, remember, it was like coming down to them too, and Joel played him, and he absolutely busted his ass. I think that really helped, which is also funny because it's just one game. But yeah, I think first of all, I think it's great for the NBA that there's these 2 dominant centers that have almost this rivalry that they can go at it and they're going to compete, and they're both in their prime. They're going to be good for a couple more years, but for 5, 6, 7, hopefully more years. But you're talking about regular season games. Again, you're not talking about maybe if they were in the same conference and Joel could get them in like a playoff series and knock them out, that would help more. But just going, the last 7 or whatever in regular season doesn't really move the needle for like the overall picture of those 2.
Yeah, but I always say that this is for me, in my opinion, but I don't think championships equal it's just championships is your team, right? Your team, your supporting cast, how they built around you and your coaching and it just doesn't transfer to like player individuality.
I agree too, because championships, they can get a little watered down, right? Because there's Zaza Pachulia's join a team and like they're a champ all of a sudden, and they go to another team and they bring that championship DNA to the other team, even though they weren't really a critical, valuable piece on that team that won the championship. So it's an interesting argument because a lot of people do look at that. Like Blake Griffin, is he a Hall of Famer?
100%.
If he was a champion, it would be 100%. If he'd never won a champion,
I'm saying in my book,
yeah,
100%.
But right now he's kind of on the
friend.
He's kind of on the fence. You know what I mean? So like, but if
Not saying that he's not, by the way.
But if he was on Boston this year and he won a championship, first ballot.
Well, also think about Boston this year. Think about how good they are as a team. It's not about having all-stars on your team anymore. It's just about having an unreal team. Jason Tatum's not even playing in the Olympics.
And Blake,
the best player on the team.
And Blake wouldn't even have had that big of an impact on this team winning a championship. But the fact that it's on his resume now and on his Wikipedia, that would boost him to a Hall of Fame status. So it's all he's missing.
One of the most interesting things that I saw so far in the offseason is Austin Rivers was watching Team USA and said, right now the 2 best players, this was in the beginning, but the 2 best players on the team right now are AD and LeBron. How are the Lakers not winning a title?
I was watching yesterday. It was like the Suns. Obviously, they struggled this in the end of the game. It was 2 Suns, 2 Lakers,
right,
and like Steph.
Right.
And I'm like, literally, none of those teams.
It was Joel Embiid.
Yeah, what I'm saying, at one point,
too.
and I'm like watching. I'm like, this is interesting because, again, when you have a team that deep, it's got to be a bad job for Kerr. Like, how are you managing this?
It's
how
tough.
are you sitting down a guy that just literally won the NBA championship, getting no burn at all? And his teammate that he's clearly a better basketball player than is playing more than him, just maybe because of fit and roles. So
they got to stop with the 5 in, 5 out. It's killing us.
And a lot more, not just a little more. Drew and Derek White are playing more than Jason Tatum.
Think about this. Before this season, Jason Tatum was the best player on the Boston Celtics by far, right? And now Jason Kidd says something about Jaylen Brown's the best player. Then he ends up winning all the Eastern Conference MVPs, the Finals MVPs. And now his other 2 teammates that we never even talk about, Derek White and Drew Holiday, are playing way more minutes than him on Team USA that are going to win gold. How does that happen?
It's really crazy.
I think that should put a little chip on his shoulder and go out there next year and prove the world wrong of whose team.
But it's crazy because it's his teammates that are playing more than him too, and
they're role guys. They're not superstars.
They're role players. He's the star on the Boston Celtics, and their role players of the Boston Celtics are playing more on the Team USA. And again, I think it does help when you can plug and play these guys that fit. And Derek White's not going to want an ISO. He's not going to want to go take a bad shot. I think Jason Tatum's mature, smart enough to not do that and play with an offense too. But like, that is what Derek White does. It's not what Jason Tatum does. So I think that's kind of the angle that the coaching staff has taken. Like, this guy's used to being a role player, setting screens, cutting, doing all the little things. Tatum's not. So maybe that's why, but I can't wrap my head. I'm watching the game last night. I'm like, they're really not going to put this dude in the game at all? Are they going to put him in the end like a blowout, like he's like he's Austin Mills at Baylor? You know what I mean? Like,
that's where he got his 9.
That's where he got his 9 threes.
So a super viral thing from the Olympics right now, obviously, is the runner talking about how an NBA is not a world championship. We saw D-Book come out and say, we're blowing all, we're beating all these teams easily. Look how hard it is to win the NBA. All the best players can play in the NBA. What are your thoughts on that?
I disagree with it, and I guess technically, no, he's correct, right? Like, because it is it's a national championship when you think about it.
Right.
It's the National Basketball Association. Now, on the flip side, everybody knows every best player in the world, some of the top players in the NBA right now, they're European, and they play in the NBA. So it is the best players in the world, which makes the NBA champion a world champion.
Right.
Again, technically it doesn't make sense because it is just in America, but if you take the EuroLeague champion, let's say it's Olympiacos in Greece, and you take the Boston Celtics would beat the brakes off that team. So that makes them a world champion. So it's also funny, too. It's like it's so fun to be in America and cheer for the Team USA on all sports. Like I like watching the gymnastics and the swimming and everything more. It just kind of was a little like sour and like a little shitty of this dude to like kind of even say anything negative about like American sports when you're literally American, and like it's fun to pull for one another. So I thought it was whack. I disagree with it, but yeah, like the Boston Celtics are world champions. They will beat any other team in the world. Right. And it wouldn't be close.
So you talked about earlier in the show, you said that you were a second round draft pick. You didn't get paid that well when you did get drafted out of the second round. Potentially, if you left college a little bit earlier, you might have been a first round draft pick. You might have gotten paid higher. Probably, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of been an open and known thing that you loved college, you loved Florida, you wanted to go back. It was a great experience. Can you tell us how good the experience was, why you really wanted to go back, maybe a fun story from college?
So what's funny is when I was a junior and senior in high school, that's the Billy Donovan back-to-back national championship years with Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, that team. So they were on top of the world when I committed. And I was the biggest Gator fan ever growing up. I grew up an hour and a half south in Orlando, so I love the Gators. So when I went there, I was so hyped. Like it was, I went with my high school point guard, Nick Calathis, who was McDonald's All-American. We had the #1 recruiting class, Jay Lucas, John Lucas's sons, dude Alex Tyus that played with OJ Mayo, when OJ Mayo was like the next MJ. So we had a squad going in. And we go in as the #1 recruiting class, and we think we're following these 2 national championships. We're going to just go there. We're going to dominate. We're going to be the best team. And, dude, we were awful. We didn't make the tournament. We went to the NIT, and Billy Donovan, who I love him now, but I thought he was the biggest prick ever playing for him. This dude kicked us out of the facility. We weren't allowed to wear anything with a Gator logo on it. We had to practice at a local high school, like Buchholz High School in Gainesville, and he made it hell for that whole after my freshman season to my sophomore season. And so that's where there's a great story how I go in there, and he calls me in his office one day after practice. And I go in there, and he's got my parents on speakerphone, and he's got Herb Sendek, I almost went to Arizona State out of high school. I loved Herb Sendek, and Archie Miller and James Harden was going there. It was like a whole thing where I took a visit there, and I loved it. And Herb Sendek and Billy Donovan were friends. So I go in there one day after practice, and they got speakerphone. They got my parents, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And Billy Donovan goes, hey, Gary, Terry, I got Chandler here, Coach Sendek. Me and Coach Sendek had already talked about this, but I think it's time Chandler transfers. And I know it was really a close decision between Florida and Arizona State. So Herb Sendek has agreed to take you. So if you don't mind, like I would love if you transfer to Arizona State. And I just remember I'm sweating. I started crying. I was like, what the fuck, is this serious? My parents were so confused. And that's the type of shit that Billy Donovan would do. And I just remember that day, this was after my freshman year, going into my sophomore year. And I just remember something clicked where I was just like, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying. And you're not going to win. And I made this personal mission between me and Billy Donovan that I was like, all right, tough guy. I got this. And I end up staying, and we suck again my sophomore year. We don't go to the tournament again. We missed the tournament 2 years in a row now, from back-to-back national championships to 2 years in the NIT. But that year, at least there was growth there. And Mo Spates, we lost Mo Spates. Remember Maurice Spates?
Yep.
We lose him, and that was kind of the most humble I've ever been in my life, because I go from the #1 recruiting class, top 20 player in the world, to literally NIT 2 years in a row, getting threatened on speakerphone with my parents to get the fuck out of here.
ASU, which ASU is a really good party school for you.
Yeah. So there was that, and then after that, that's kind of where I matured. You grow up. You kind of start realizing certain things. I hit the weight room, more religiously, and then that's where we get to the tournament my junior year, and that's where I could have been probably a first round pick. But dude, Florida's nuts. It's like 50,000 students. I think there's 39,000 are female, 11 are male. There's pool parties every day. I would hang out at every fraternity house. Like, you guys know me. Like, it was my cup of tea. And there's no money involved. There's no NIL legally. And so, like, there was no hate.
Chandler's like whipping a Range Rover on campus.
A Chrysler 300. And
that was the Range Rover of the time.
I was whipping that thing. But that was the time. It was like there was no money, there was no hate, there was no like every 50,000, and you were just the man. You were treated so well, you were respected, you were loved. Everyone was on the same team. So I loved that aspect of college, and I didn't even know about like the shit that I was gonna get in the NBA. But I just remember this was like literally like a family, and everybody pulled for you, and the games were so lit. Like it was so much fun. And we were good. We had a chance. We got jimmered that year in the tournament where dude had like 50 and we lost. And we had everybody coming back my senior year except me if I left. So I was like, you know what? Like,
now the poor guy's on 3-on-3 team.
Yeah. So I ended up going back my senior year just because I loved it. And we go to the Elite Eight, I win Player of the Year, and somehow go from a first-round pick to the 38th pick just because I'm a year older, I guess. But it was crazy, dude. I loved college more than anything. I still love University of Florida. When I left Florida, one of the best college bars in the world is called the Swamp. It's like right across. I bought the Swamp, I ran like Swamp like 5 years while I was in the league. So it was epic. And playing for Billy D was great.
The only player ever to skip the NBA for the college life.
Yeah. Instead of going to like first round, I like bought a bar in college.
Hey, good investment though.
Yeah.
Still paying?
No, my brother moved there and ran it for like 3 years, and then we ended up selling it.
Speaking of other stuff that he's done, you also own a pickleball team.
Yeah.
So you love pickleball.
I love pickleball. I never thought I'd get into this game. Me and my family would go to Cabo, and we'd see these people playing this game. I'm like, who are these losers playing
Obsessed,
this game? Like,
by the way.
it's like a cult, dude. So finally, I went and played this like 2 years ago. I went and played, and we probably played for 5 hours that day, and just got obsessed. And my knees are pretty fucked up, so like I get a little sore, but I love it, dude. And then I got affiliated with this team in Dallas with Mark and Dirk and this tennis guy John Isner, and so it's been fun, just kind of like meeting the guys, seeing the following like the draft process, and like
that's pretty cool.
It's
I learned that Chan loves every sport except for basketball. Big pickleball guy. Big golfer.
Big golfer.
Love tennis.
He puts more into golf than he ever put into.
You know what's crazy is I loved playing basketball, but because my knees and I was in so much pain, I started to like hate playing. But like I still love watching basketball. I still work like in that industry, but like it just pain. Like I was miserable, dude. I couldn't get up to pee in the middle of the night because my knees hurt so bad. But like I still like I'll sit here on a Tuesday night and watch fucking Hornets Pistons. Like I still love it.
Yeah. Chan invited me to one of the craziest surrounding celebrity situations I've ever been to in my life. There's a big golf tournament in Vegas, and Chan's like, come fly out. So Taylor, my fiance, and I go out there, and we go see Chan. And the first night we get there, we're in the high limit room. Do you remember this situation, the setting? This is the first time I ever met Travis Kelce.
He probably doesn't remember.
It's like a normal day for Chan, but for me it was crazy. We're in the high limit room. He's like, yeah, come downstairs, come join us, whatever. It's Chan, Travis Kelce, Jimmy Fallon, Timberlake at a roulette table. They're all gambling, screaming, yelling. The room is going crazy. Then David Blaine walks up. And then Michael Phelps walks up. And then the coach of the Rams walks. I'm like, what is going on? That has to be one of the biggest celebrity tournaments ever.
So that's Justin Timberlake and 8 a.m. do a tournament every year at the Wynn, and it's epic. And I've been going now for like, I think 4 years. And they basically pair you with one-year boy. Like I brought Blake this last year. I played with Schoolboy 1 year. I played with Trav 1 year. And it's just basically JT gets like 24 of his homies, and you go and you play like 12 two-man groups and sickest events. They do like a karaoke night. Like him and I brought Joe Hayden this year too. So Justin Timberlake and Joe Hayden did Forgot About Dre, where he did Dre's part and JT did him. And it's just sick. It's the best event ever. The gifting is insane. Everything's so convenient that they rent out the best dinner. So that night is cool just because you're also like, I loved these people. Like I look up to these people. So now to get them on a golf course, and you can really get to know someone on a golf course. I always say if I was like a president of a big company and I would need to hire somebody, I'd play golf with them because you find out every single thing about that person. You find out about their etiquette. Are they competitive? Are they honest? Do they cheat? Do they play fast? Do they play slow? You can find out every single thing about a person on the golf course. And so it's cool to see these stars and these famous people in that element. And it's like private and you're getting lit with these people and then you're gambling. So like, it's awesome.
Would you rather be a professional golfer? You were a professional NBA player, but if you could do it all over again, would you switch to being like the number one player in pickleball?
No, I would.
Pickleball.
No, the number one player in pickleball. The number one player in pickleball. The 100th best golfer, or the 50th best NBA player.
50th best NBA player. Listen, the NBA, I love the NBA. It's not even close. Pickleball, no shot. Golf again, I love it. I love it now. It's like my hobby. I literally do it every day, and it's less taxing, like on my body. But the NBA to me is the greatest league ever. It's the greatest life ever. It's the most recognizable life. We're paid so well. You're on TV. Like you have the sickest endorsements. You meet the greatest people. So to me, I wouldn't change a thing. But post career, I always tell guys that are kind of like thinking about retiring, and certain like my boys that just retired that are struggling with it, and I'm like, dude, play golf. Like it saved my life. Like it made my retirement so smooth and so easy because it's similar to country club, to a locker room, the same camaraderie, the gambling, the bullshitting, and as an athlete, you know, you want to be good. So like it's something that you're not good at that you can still work and strive to be better at every single day. And it's the best. And it really, I'm telling you, I was the first year COVID happened, I retired, and I'm like, fuck, is this that people I see? Like people get depressed and they're lonely, and like how many times I can't just sit around. And so like I started golfing, dude, and it's saved me.
Favorite teammate on the court and off the court, and then I want least favorite teammate on the court and off the court.
My favorite teammate of all time, I got two, JJ Barea and Dirk.
On or off?
Both. Dirk on. I mean, I got him a little older, so he wasn't that nice when I played with him. Like he was a step slow, but just the attention that guy would draw and the shots he would hit, and like just being. I had posters on this dude on my wall. I have a picture of my yearbook in like 4th grade with a Dirk jersey. Yeah. Fast forward, 15, 20 years later, the guy's coming to my wedding. Like it's the craziest thing ever. But I loved him so much. So the fact that I got to play with him for 2 years, and then JJ Barea. There was a year where it was like me, JJ Barea, Dirk, Richard Jefferson, and Charlie Villanueva, and that was like our group. And like so, like Dirk wouldn't go out as much because he was a little older, but off the court, those guys were my guys. We were in the streets of Dallas.
What about least favorite? Least favorite to play with, and least favorite like you never hung out with them.
You know what? I didn't have any like beef. Really, with any teammates,
CJ McCollum,
Monte Ellis, fuck that guy. No, I'm kidding. Monte Ellis, like me, like never, like I kind of went there. He was like the second option for Dirk, so I kind of went there. So we had a little animosity, but it never really was like a beef. And people always talk shit about James Harden too. Like I loved playing with James Harden. So that's not like I'm saying he's one of my favorite players. Actually, not least favorite. Least favorite. I mean. It's crazy. Like we had Rondo in Dallas one year, and it was just like not least favorite, but it was hilarious because he hated Carlisle. So like it was always something every single day where like there was some sort of drama, or like Rondo would like park in his spot just to like piss him off. So like that. Yeah, it was fun.
It's really funny.
That year in Houston where it was me, Dwight, and James, they kind of would always go at it. So I was like literally like a therapist for those two. So that wasn't dope.
Did you go out with James? Obviously, James has all these crazy stories, and we won't get into that because I don't want to put his stuff out there. But was he one of your guys? We obviously know you like to go out and have a good time.
Yeah, he's got a motor.
Yeah. He's
got a real motor. He gets after it. And I don't know now. I mean, we were young when we played together. We were 24, 25 years old. Now, I heard he hasn't slowed down much, but yeah, he was. I love James. I had nothing but great things to him.
Does that not weigh on you either the next day or throughout the season? Like you go out the night before and you have a game the next day. Are you not hungover? Are you not tired? Are you not?
Now, yeah, but back then, no. Like and again, guys don't drink like nights before games, But like, yeah, after the game, if you play on like a Thursday and you don't play again until Saturday or Sunday, for sure, you win, you play well, you're going out and you're drinking, and practice in between 2 game days is going to be light. So it's not like you're going to be anything that's physically taxing that next day.
But when you're in LA, it doesn't apply to that, right? That rule doesn't apply.
Like, I'll be honest with you, I've had some games where I was definitely hungover, and I was definitely like, and I played really well. It's almost like you play better because you're almost more alert.
You have to like lock in.
You think
to like focus
you
more.
think you're a step slow, so you really lock in more. But yeah, dudes aren't like drinking like nights before usually. Maybe wine, but like, you know, you're not really partying the night before. Even now, like, I don't like it now when I see teams lose and like I see guys out. I'm like, I think that's whack. I think
You're like, fuck that guy. Meanwhile, it was you.
Yeah, no, I swear, I don't think I rarely would go out after
Only
a
in
loss.
LA.
Yeah.
Maybe in
certain
LA.
certain cities, New
But I
York,
hate-
Miami, LA. You're like,
I thought like it's almost like a hall pass if you win the game, and who cares if you play good or bad? It's not about you. It's about the team winning or losing. And if your team won, I think it was almost like a hall pass for like, yeah, go out, have some drinks, and because that bond you have with your teammates is almost just as important as on the court chemistry. Whether you could trust and love that guy, you want to play hard for that guy. That happens outside the facility. That happens off the court. So to have that relationship and those kind of that chemistry, I think is huge. Now, not to get fucked up till 4 or 5 in the morning and then miss practice or feel like shit the next day, but there's definitely a balance of, you know, going to someone's house and having some drinks and playing some cards, doing whatever, and kind of creating that bond is huge.
And you are really good at that, man. I give it as your friend and like being in your life. I've seen how you've always really like made everybody feel welcomed and part of the party, and like you are the life of the party when it comes to like the party don't start till you get there. 'Cause you really are a lot of fun, man.
Thanks,
And
man.
I'm sure that all your teammates would say the same thing about you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always how I've been. I've always been like a people person, right? So no matter who you plug me in with, you put me on a table with anybody, I can relate, I can get along with them. So again, teams need that. So I was never the most talented guy on my team, but I made sure everybody was loose, everybody was having fun, and when it was time to work, we were going to work, and when it was time to party, I'll handle.
yeah.
So now that you're on TV, right? Is there any chance that we see you back, like to coaching or like?
Coaching, no, I don't. No way. I think the NBA coaching, it's a cesspool, man. It's they always get the raw end of the deal. They get fired and hired and just flipped. And
A lot of bad coaches.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so
But some people are living nicely after, right?
Oh, and they're like JB Bickerstaff is my guy, right? And he's made a fuck ton of money coaching. But like the guy did a great job in Cleveland. He gets fired, and then Detroit turned around and just hired. It's crazy to me. So it's such a players' league. I have no interest in coaching. You know, maybe something higher up, like in a front office or an ownership level. But I like the TV side. I like the media side. I have 2 young kids to where I can create my own schedule. I can travel whenever I want. So this for me is perfect. And the idea of going to like shoot around and practice every day in a city that I have no connection to or love to is not something I'll do.
So Frank, unless you have anything else, I have one segment I want to wrap with.
The reason I wanted to have this is because of this question.
Go ahead.
So Chandler, I'm putting you on the spot, man.
Oh, I don't even know what this is.
Is there a script? He's going
Who
off
are you
script?
voting for? What's
Who are
the
you
question?
voting for?
Well, that's easy.
So there's room in my team for a 6'10" with a ratchet in the Beverly Hills Men's League. Would you sign a 10-day with my team?
How many games?
He can't move. You don't want him. Why would you want him?
That could be a hell of a decoy, though.
I just need him on the corner, man. If I can just get him on the corner, that's it.
You know what? It would be funny to actually try and play one day. I need double knee replacement, so it's not like just my knees are sore. My knees are fucked. So it's like I don't. It'd be funny. Is there load management in the Beverly Hills Lakes?
There's load management.
Yeah, I'd be the first one.
Your name would just be on the roster. You wouldn't even play.
Yeah. Do you pay?
I buy dinner after.
Listen, when's the season start?
It starts next month.
Is it like a game a week?
It's a game a week. It's
Jesus, in
it's
a month. I need to go. I need
6:45,
a proper training
7:45.
camp. I need to get ready.
Well, hey, listen. Like I said, I just need you to go
Just
shoot
leave
it
an open
'cause-
spot. Leave an open spot on
leave
the
an open
roster
spot
just in case.
Because Austin Mills left me hanging, man, and every
Damn.
I'm getting surgery too, but I'll be next summer. I got you, baby.
next
I'll be
summer-
back next
okay,
summer.
I mean, I guess I could straight up varsity blue. They don't drug test, right?
Yeah,
I
you're
could
good.
You're not drug tested. You can be on.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Save a spot for me,
I'm gonna
Frank.
save a little roster spot for you, brother. I got your jersey ready.
So I have a fun game that I think is fun. Just to end the show, I did a little research, and according to Hoops Hype, they did a list of the most overpaid players in NBA history.
Here we go.
So it's seasons overpaid versus seasons underpaid, and there's a list of 25 people. I want to see if you can guess 10 of the people on the list.
This is ever,
ever.
and this is just big.
I will say the list really doesn't go back past like the 2000s.
Bad contracts is basically what you're talking about.
Bad contracts, correct.
Okay, let's just get me out of the way.
Parsons, that's
what
one.
number was I on there?
It wasn't in order. It was just 25 of the most.
Okay, Luol Deng is definitely on there.
He's actually not on here,
That's kind of weird.
but he should be on here.
Mozgov's on there.
2.
Biombo's on there.
Bismack Biyombo is on here. That's 3.
Joakim Noah's 1,000% on there.
Not on here. No Joakim Noah.
John Wall's 1,000% on there.
John Wall's on here. That's 4.
Oh my God.
You're a lot better at this than I thought.
Well, that was my free agency class. We all got. It was like me, like Evan Turner, Alan Crabb, those guys.
Who'd you just say?
Evan Turner,
That's what's that? 5?
Luol
That's
Deng,
5.
Mozgov. I can't believe Luol Deng's not on there. You know who I think will be on there is Klay Thompson, which is
Klay Thompson is on there.
No,
that
way.
is 6.
That is
which is
surprising.
crazy because
Klay Thompson. So I'll
He
just give
deserves
you,
every penny.
I'll give you a little
Yeah,
breakdown
everything.
of they did seasons overpaid versus underpaid. Chandler Parsons 8 seasons overpaid, 4 underpaid. John Wall 8 and 4 as well. Klay Thompson 6 and 5. Mozgov was 10 and 1.
What does it mean by 8 and 4? Like you only played.
Yeah, I played 9 years. What's 8 and 4 mean?
That's a
They're
good
counting
question.
the where you're gonna be underpaid on my Beverly Hills.
Good. That is a good question. Okay, you're at, what did we say? 5? Are we at 5 now? 6. We're at 6.
Could you imagine if I just showed up with
4 more.
4 more.
Chandler?
He's been mentioned. He's a good friend of the boys. You hate to see it.
Not Blake.
Blake Griffin on the list.
When?
Deserves every penny.
I agree. I 100% agree. So that's
Sometimes you're
Gordon
paying for
Hayward,
it.
Gordon Hayward. That is 8.
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris is actually not
I think
on
he's
this
made
list.
$300 million. Has never been an All-Star.
He's not on this list, but probably Luol Deng, Tobias Harris should be. We're 8. You got 2 left.
Holy smokes!
There's 25 on the list. There's some on here you would, just never guess.
Hold on, I should be able to get this.
What about Michael Jordan with the Wizards?
No. This is career.
Oh, okay.
I would say Michael Jordan is not overpaid.
Is like Kawhi Leonard on there because he's hurt?
no Kawhi,
Like,
no Kawhi. Should be.
Give us like a little bit more of a hint.
You want some hints?
Yeah, give me some hints.
We're gonna be here all day.
I'll
Kevin
give-
Love on there?
Kevin Love is on there. That's 9.
Come on, one more.
You're 1 away. You got this. One of the better defenders probably in the last 25 years, but was simply a defender.
Patrick Beverly.
No, a big.
Oh, Dikembe Mutombo.
Correct. Dikembe Mutombo.
I didn't know he made money.
16 seasons overpaid, 2 underpaid.
How much
I don't know
money
who's
was he
making
making?
Who's making this list?
He had like one of the highest contracts in the NBA at one point.
Is Draymond Green on there?
No Draymond Green. No, Draymond Green's one of the
He
best
deserves
defenders in the
every
league. Yeah, I agree.
One of my favorite players.
You want me to read the rest of the guys because we're at 10.
Yeah.
Tyson Chandler, Juwan Howard,
Oh, we're thinking. I wasn't thinking that far back.
Brian Grant,
Brian Grant. I used to love Brian Grant.
Kevin Garnett,
Kevin Garnett made a lot of money, dude.
Otto Porter Jr.,
That's a good one.
Jermaine O'Neal,
Nah,
Nicholas Batum,
that's a good one.
Theo Ratliff, Joe Johnson,
Joe Johnson got bags on bags.
Harrison Barnes,
He's still getting paid.
Chris Bosh,
He deserved it.
Yeah, guys.
Alonzo Mourning, Al Horford,
I don't know who made this list.
Allen Houston, and Jan Mahimi.
Jan Mahimi's a good one. He got like 60 million one summer. By the way, Biyombo had like a 20 rebound game and got like 20 million a year the following year in the playoffs. He had like one good playoff
Isn't that
game.
crazy how one season can get
And
you
also,
paid forever?
let me leave you with this. Teams pay players on what they've done and what they can possibly do. So it's funny when fans and all these get mad because you go and pay Gordon Hayward for what he did, like in the numbers that he produced, and you hope that he can either do that or grow that and get them better. So it's funny when like these teams get so mad, like these players aren't trying to do that. The team, like the GMs and they did that based on his production. They can't factor in an injury or so it's
Horton and Hayward and Parsons, by the way, very similar.
I love Gordon
situations
Hayward.
there. I'm sure you do.
Did you see his story the other day? He said Garnett said, I got Bieber talking about guarding him.
No, what did he say?
Oh yeah,
He did some podcast and he was talking like Kevin Garnett, who talks the most shit ever. I guess was like pointed at him. Was like, yeah, I got Bieber, like talking about like I'm guarding Bieber.
My favorite is the Gordon Hayward gender reveal when they pops the baby and you know the wife looks at him. Is Daddy happy? Daddy's always happy. He's like so pissed.
Yeah.
Got
Hated
another
it.
girl.
That's hilarious.
All right, well, Chan, thank you. We obviously had an amazing time, and
My guys.
we'll see you tonight.
Damn right.
Yeah, I'm right.